councillors to the Chief Executive Employment and Remuneration Committee for the 9th of April, 2024. We have committee members, including myself, Councillor Clarkson, Councillor Downard, Councillor Hughes, Councillor Marr is online. We also have Councillor Cookson and Councillor Smith in the room with us. Anybody else online? I do note we've got Stu Brown there, as well as our chief executive attending online.
Haven hovering outside.
And Haven hovering. Okay, so we'll start with the Karakia. Dave, can you take us through that?
Sure. Takatiho ki te uru, takatiho ki te tonga, kia mā kina ki uta, ki mā tarata ki tai. He aka ana te atakura, he tio, he huku, he huka, he hohu ti hei Maori ora.
Thank you very much for that. All right, we have our health and safety statement. I will take that as read. Everybody knows how to respond in the case of emergency. Any apologies? Any apologies for this meeting?
No, good. Yes.
Okay.
Pamela, sorry, can I just note that I'll have to go away at 10:30. I'm in Thames Council chambers at the moment, but we have the meeting for the shoreline management heading out to the Marae.
Sure. Thank you for that. So
Thanks.
we'll have apologies for early departure then from Councillor Marr. Do I have a mover, Councillor Downard, and a second in Councillor Clarkson? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, confirmation of the agenda. Do I have a mover? Councillor Hughes, Councillor Clarkson, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Disclosures of interest. Any additional disclosures of interest from councillors that are in attendance today? Nope. All right, we will move on to our first item. This is item number 6. This is on page 7 of your. Have I got this? Oh,
Coming through.
all right, we'll try and locate that as we go forward. All right, so we've got the people strategy update. Again, this is on page 7, and we've got Stu. Hello, Stu.
Good morning. Apologies for not being there in person. Unfortunately, I've been suffering some man flu for the past week, and I didn't think it suitable to share it with you all. So not quite firing on all cylinders. Yeah, but hopefully we'll be clearing that soon. So I guess the report I'll take as read, and I'll just take you through a couple of the key points that I think are important to notice and where some of the significant time investment has been. So you'll be aware earlier in the year, not long after I joined, I had a small restructure of the P&C team to bring in some more technical competency in the HR space, and I've talked to you guys about, the drive for supporting performance across the organisation. So that was really the thinking there, and we have invested quite heavily in that, and we've taken sort of around that 5% of the organisation through a lift in performance, which has been really positive across the all levels, I guess, and the managers are pretty receptive to that. On top of all that, we've kind of maintained much of our business as usual as per the strategy. So that sort of sits outside the strategy, but was a significant piece of work. As we move through, you'll see in the background there that we've got the Maori employment strategy. We've been looking at that recently to see what we can do in that space to entice Maori to come and work for us, and continue down the cultural competency route that we've been on for years now, and fulfil our legislative obligations in that space. We have now got our results back for the organisational culture survey, which I'm sure you'll be keen to see at some point soon. We had a great response rate to that of 82%, which was fantastic, really high. And the executive are going to be presented with that next week, and that will give us some really good insights into what's going on, obviously following the Pulse survey, and then we'll be able to make some informed decisions about where we invest our time from a P&C perspective over the next few years, which will help inform the new strategy going forward. Really, the rest of it I can take as read. It just talks through each of the areas of the strategic direction that we've been going on and the progress that we've made in that space. Some really great and some not so much. I guess we have had, unfortunately, quite a bit of turnover. The stars aligned for us a few months ago, and 4 of the team, which is about a third, all left at the same time, unfortunately, for varying reasons to find love and do overseas travel and set up their own business. So thankfully nothing relating to us, but and good for them, but unfortunate for the team because it's put significant pressure on to continue to deliver. So happy to take any questions about the paper and what's in the contents.
Look, questions probably not, more just comments, and I'd like some answers, and I'll just go through them. Stu, and you can respond at the end if you like. And
Sure.
This is general comments just in terms of your people's strategy. My first comment is, I don't see anywhere in here about where we're striving for efficiency. We've got all sorts of nice words and fluffy things that we'd like to achieve. But as far as I'm concerned, I think I want to see efficiency. And if you look at what's happening in Wellington at the moment, that's exactly what being trying to drive into the organisations. So that's my first observation. Embedding a growth focus, I totally agree with that. Homegrown is best and certainly cheapest if they are the right people, and by the time they get to the stage of being promoted, then you should know whether they might fit the organisation or not. But I'm also a great believer in bringing in outsiders. You're bringing in external expertise. Because they are people who've been trained in a different way of thinking. They will test the paradigms of things that you do and how you operate. And I think this organisation could benefit from having some external people with commercial experience coming in and looking at things from a different perspective. So I just leave that one with you because I personally would like to see something in there. Great to support people coming through, but I think it's important that we don't just focus solely on that aspect of it. You're talking about a diverse staff profile and focusing on Maori. As far as I'm concerned, the best people for the job should be employed. I don't give a stuff what they look like, who they align with, or anything else. It's the best people for the job that should be employed. And I don't subscribe to the view that we should be putting people in boxes and employing them because they fit that particular box. I think it's destructive long term, and I don't think it's a viable policy. But that's just me. And I guess the next one you've got embedding an empowered, caring, trust-based culture. A friend of mine says if somebody doesn't qualify for the GSD, then you don't employ them, and that's get stuff done. And it's difficult to filter people when you might know. But if you can have that culture of getting stuff done, then hopefully the ship starts moving faster and more efficiently. So yeah, those are my observations. So you can answer them.
Yeah, no, thanks. Appreciate that, Chris. I do understand the efficiency perspective, and I guess that's why we've invested so much time in dealing with that performance piece. You know, that's basically an anchor to the organisation that holds it back. You know, you've got 30 odd people not performing at the level that they should be, and it just takes up management time. It's a burden to the rest of the team. So we have been investing heavily in that space to either help and support those people to be able to deliver, or help them to find that maybe it's not the right job for them and they should look for something else. I guess the piece that we haven't got to that I'm quite passionate about and I really want us to get to, but it'll obviously be a discussion for ELT following OCI, will be what do we do about the top 5%? Because those are the people that really take your business forward. You know, you've got everybody in the middle that keeps the wheels turning, but it's that top top talent that really takes your business forward, and they're the ones that come up with the efficiencies and the bright ideas and all that. So I'm fully on board with what you're saying there. I guess when you talk about external expertise and bringing that in, I also agree with that. It is fantastic that we have a lot of homegrown, and that kind of 30 to 40% of internal people, make up our new recruits for different roles that we've got, which is great. But it is important to recognize when we need to bring in specific skill sets. We do that across the organization. I've had an extremely positive experience recently with one of our external consultants in the engineering space, and he's really supported us through some of the health and safety stuff that we've had going on. So that having that commercial external skill set is really important. Another space that we're looking to implement that is really around the change management in the organization, and you'll all be aware of Infor that's been going on for 4 years now. We've now adopted that into business as usual, but there's still some work to be done for the next 12 or 18 months, and we're intending to bring in a change manager external to be able to lift our game in that space and take us forward. So I completely accept your point, and we are doing that in some spaces. I guess when you talk about diversity and the best person for the job, I agree with you. I don't think there is any constitute for competency-based filling of roles. The whole world operates on competency. It doesn't matter if you're in a dictatorship or in a democracy. It is the best people for the job. If you're having someone come out to your house to be your spark, you want to know that they're competent and qualified, and if you have a brain surgeon, you want to see him. So it's really I fully support that. I guess we do have an obligation, to work with Māori in all of our business that we do, and it's really important that we recognise that there, are ways that we can communicate more effectively and efficiently with them, and if we can attract people that will deliver that for us, as well as being technically competent in other areas of the business, it's just a win-win. So I hear what you're saying, but it's an important place for us to invest and continue to progress. So hopefully that's some responses for you, Chris.
So Stu, I made those observations because personally I'd like to see those articulated in our strategy.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
I'm raising them. So I'll
Yep.
leave it with you.
No, I've got you, Chris. Thank you. I've noted them down.
That I support Chris totally with his comments on it. I do believe there needs to be actually, some hard evidence on efficiency through the organisation. Because it comes down to, I think, or my view is that because it's not like a personal business where you've got to make efficiencies to either increase your profit or to make the business compatible and viable. I think efficiency needs to be in the organisation, whether that the efficiency of success, amount of money that's saved, or through the budget is put into other activities that we can persevere, like biosecurity. Yeah, I endorse what Chris has said.
Mr. CE, did you want to make a comment?
Yeah, thank you. Just with respect to the Māori representation in council, if you look at the population as a whole, we are very underrepresented with Māori in our council, and so that's partly the reason for the strategy. It's absolutely about best person for the job. It's not that anyone will get a preferential way into the organisation because of who they are, where they come from, and so on. But it is a matter. It would just be like if we had gender inequality in the organisation, we'd be trying to fix that as well going forward. Absolutely best person for the job. I think this is partly about trying to encourage Māori who are well qualified to want to work in our organisation, as opposed to finding career pathways elsewhere. Thanks.
Thank you for that that comment, Chris. Councillor Clarkson.
Stu, look, I just wanted to thank you for your report. I just wanted to focus on one point that you made about people who are not performing what we would expect. And the linkage you made, was it to the organisational culture inventory? So again, from what you said, was that that's going to provide the platform to actually better address the problem of non-performance. Is that what you were saying?
No, not necessarily, Bruce. You'll always have issues in any organisation of this size with performance. I guess the OCI will give us the opportunity to look at what the 650 odd staff are telling us, are the key things for them of importance. And there'll be probably 3 or 4 things there that really stand out. And it's really up to the executive to have a look at those 3 or 4 things and then come up with solutions and practices and strategies to take forward some progress to actually resolve those issues or continue to improve things that people want to see improved in those spaces, really, because that's what's we talk about moving the dial. It's really focusing on those key items and coming up with strategies to implement changes that will actually move the dial. And that's going to be the key piece for the executive over the coming kind of month, which will then inform the P&C direction to a large extent. I think the dealing with performance will always be there. We'll always need to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul, did you want to make a comment?
I do. Stu, I've read it thoroughly and I get it. It reminds me of, I presented a similar strategy. I was HR director at Becca and I presented a similar strategy to a very wise old MD who,
Yes.
Who at the end of that said to me, you realise a couple of things, because there are 9 initiatives here, right? 9 areas of activity, which you're saying you're going to give particular attention to on top of the BAU that you're doing. And he said to me, what you've got to realise, first of all, is the workload you're putting on your own team. And secondly, that everything that you're trying to do will find its way into the in-tray and the calendar of very busy line managers who are trying to get some stuff done for our customers. He said, you would do us all a great favour if you did less. And that's my overriding observation. I mean, for example, if you look at workforce planning, you do workforce planning now. You do it every year as people put a budget up for their team and they say, I think I need this number of people, this work, more people, less people, whatever. You also do it through the succession planning that you do. It says, who are we bringing through? So I don't know, if we had a lot of time, I'd say, tell us more about what you think you need to do.